Seven of Wall Street's biggest names are in a high stakes war, and the winner gets to define the future of XRP. While most people are just watching the price, they're missing the real story, the backroom strategies and power plays happening right now. These financial titans aren't just filing paperwork with the SEC, they are maneuvering, lobbying, and preparing for a flood of capital that could reshape the entire crypto market. This is the inside story of the race for the first spot XRP ETF. And I'm going to show you exactly what happens when the SEC gives the green light, because it's likely coming sooner than you think. Prediction markets are giving it a stunning 99% chance of approval before the end of 2025, and the decision window is closing fast. This isn't just another financial product. This is the institutional validation that the XRP community has been fighting for, a potential final victory after a long and difficult battle. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand who the key players are, what makes each of them unique, and how the market is positioning itself before the starting gunfires. All right, let's set the stage. What exactly is this prize they're all fighting for? It's the first ever spot XRP Exchange Traded Fund, or ETF, in the United States. For anyone new to this, an ETF is one of Wall Street's most powerful tools. Think of it like a basket. Instead of going out and picking individual apples, oranges, and bananas yourself, which in crypto means setting up a digital wallet, managing keys, and dealing with exchanges, you can just buy the whole basket. A spot XRP ETF would hold actual XRP tokens, and you, the investor, could buy shares of that ETF through your regular brokerage account, just like buying stock in Apple or Tesla. This is a complete game changer. Why? Because it breaks down the barrier between the complicated world of crypto and the trillions of dollars sitting in traditional finance. It gives hedge funds, pension funds, and everyday retirement accounts a simple, regulated way to get exposure to XRP. This isn't a what-if scenario anymore. The key dominoes have already fallen. First, the biggest legal storm cloud cleared. In August 2025, Ripple and the SEC jointly filed to close their long-running case, cementing the landmark court ruling that programmatic sales of XRP on exchanges are not securities. That legal clarity swung the doors wide open for what was to come next. Next came the critical market infrastructure. The SEC has a new framework. Before they'll consider a spot ETF, there needs to be a healthy, regulated futures market for that asset. This allows for proper price discovery and surveillance. Well, XRP futures went live on the Coinbase Derivatives Exchange on April 21st, 2025, and on the prestigious Chicago Mercantile Exchange, or CME, on May 19th, 2025. The mandatory 6-month trading period for those futures is now complete, ending in late November 2025. The timeline is set. The final SEC decision window for the current batch of applicants is expected between October 18th and November 14th, 2025. The race is in its final lap. The SEC has already approved spot ETFs for Bitcoin and Ethereum, setting a clear precedent. The question is no longer if an XRP ETF will be approved, but who will get to launch and capture that initial tidal wave of capital. And that's where our 7 warriors enter the arena. Now, before we break down each of these financial titans and their unique strategies, do me a quick favor. If you're getting value from this deep dive, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. The market is moving faster than ever, and this is your home for the analysis you need to stay ahead. You don't want to miss the next update. This is not a friendly competition. It's a cutthroat battle for market share, management fees, and the prestige of being first. There are at least 7 major players with filings in front of the SEC, each with a different angle and a different reason they think they should win. Let's break them down. Warrior number 1, Grayscale Investments. First up, we have the undisputed veteran of crypto funds, Grayscale. Grayscale is a titan, specifically in bringing crypto products to institutions. They've been in this game since 2013, long before it was cool. Their weapon of choice is the Grayscale XRP Trust, which they launched as a private placement back in September 2024. Their strategy is a proven one: the conversion. Grayscale's plan isn't to launch a new ETF from scratch, but to convert their existing XRP Trust into a full-fledged spot ETF. They did this exact same thing with their massive Bitcoin trust, GBTC. The advantage is that they already have a product with assets under management, currently around $17 million, and an existing base of investors. But Grayscale's path is often confrontational. They famously sued the SEC to force the conversion of their Bitcoin trust, and they won. This history shows they are willing to fight tooth and nail. However, Grayscale does have a potential weakness: fees. Their existing trusts are known for having higher expense ratios, with their XRP trust currently sitting at a hefty 2.5%. In the hyper-competitive ETF world, this could be a major disadvantage. They represent the old guard, but in this war, incumbency isn't everything. Warrior number 2, Bitwise Asset Management. Next, we have Bitwise, the specialist. If Grayscale is the grizzled veteran, Bitwise is the highly trained crypto sniper. They are one of the most respected crypto native asset managers, with a laser focus on data driven products. Bitwise CIO Matt Hogan is one of the most vocal proponents of an XRP ETF, famously predicting it will easily become a $1 billion fund within months. His reasoning is simple. People underestimate it because the median opinion in crypto is pretty bearish on XRP, but what drives flows? A group of people that buys the asset, and the XRP army is incredibly bullish and loves XRP. He understands this isn't just about institutional money, it's about unlocking a passionate global community of XRP holders. Bitwise was one of the very first to file for a spot XRP ETF back in October 2024, signaling their intent early. Their strategy is built on a reputation for crypto expertise. They aren't a tradfi giant slapping their name on a crypto product. This is their entire business. Bitwise represents the smart money, betting that in the world of digital assets, being a specialist is the ultimate weapon. Warrior number 3, Wisdom Tree enter the global ETF powerhouse, Wisdom Tree. With over $113 billion in assets, Wisdom Tree is a giant in the traditional ETF space. They aren't a crypto native firm, but a legacy institution that has strategically moved into digital assets. Wisdom Tree filed its registration for the Wisdom Tree XRP Fund in December 2024. Their strategy is all about legitimacy. They plan to list on the CBOE BZX exchange and have designated the Bank of New York Mellon, one of the oldest banks in America, as an administrator. This is a clear signal to conservative investors. This product is backed by names you know and trust. Their filings state a simple objective: to gain exposure to the price of XRP, less expenses and liabilities. It's a straightforward approach designed for the widest possible audience. Wisdom Tree's power comes from its massive distribution network and sterling reputation. Warrior number 4, 21 shares. If this is a global war, 21 shares is the European commander. Based in Switzerland, 21 shares is a pioneer in the crypto ETP market in Europe. Their experience is vast, and their expansion into the US has been aggressive. They filed for the 21 Shares Core XRP Trust in November 2024. Their strategy is to leverage their deep global experience and present themselves as a trusted international leader. They've been navigating various European regulatory frameworks for years, giving them a unique perspective that few US-centric firms have. Their US filings are often in partnership with ARK Invest, although for the XRP ETF, they appear to be leading the charge. 21 shares represents the international contingent, betting that its battle-tested history across multiple jurisdictions will be a deciding factor. Warrior number 5, Franklin Templeton. Now for the trillion-dollar gorilla in the room, Franklin Templeton. As a cornerstone of the traditional financial world, their entry into the XRP ETF race lends an immense amount of credibility to the asset. Franklin Templeton filed for its own XRP ETF, designating Coinbase as the custodian. Their strategy is pure, unadulterated scale. They have the distribution, the brand, and the trust of the most conservative investors on the planet. Their presence alone ensures that the competition will be ferocious from day one and signals that the war for the XRP ETF is not a niche event. It is a mainstream financial revolution. Warrior number 6, the RX Shares/Osprey Funds Alliance. Here we have an interesting and innovative challenger, the alliance between REX Shares and Osprey Funds. This partnership combines RX's expertise in alternative ETFs with Osprey's crypto focus. Their entry, the REX Osprey XRP ETF, XRPR, made headlines by launching in September 2025. It debuted with a unique structure that, while not a pure spot ETF like the others, allowed it to get to market faster and has already gathered over $100 million in assets. This early launch gives them a significant first mover advantage, proving there is real demand. Rex and Osprey represent the agile innovators, betting that speed and creativity can compete with brute force and size. Warrior number 7, the Field, Volatility Shares, Invesco, and others. Finally, we have the field, other powerful players who have thrown their hats in the ring. This includes volatility shares, experts in derivatives and complex products who have filed for leveraged XRP ETFs. It also includes giants like Invesco, who often partner with the crypto native firm Galaxy Digital. This group of titans ensures that the pressure is on the SEC to approve a wave of these products all at once to avoid giving any single firm an unfair advantage, a pattern we saw with the Bitcoin ETFs. The road to this moment wasn't easy. As we covered, the two most critical milestones have been cleared: the legal victory providing clarity for XRP and the establishment of a regulated futures market on major exchanges like the CME. But the pressure on the SEC isn't just domestic. While the US has been deliberating, other countries have been acting. Brazil launched the world's first spot XRP ETF from issuer Hashdex back in April 2025. Then, in June 2025, Canada followed suit, with multiple spot XRP ETFs going live. These international products are already trading, attracting capital, and proving the concept works. Every day the US waits, it risks falling behind. This puts the SEC in a tough spot. Can the world's leading capital market afford to be last to the party? This international precedent significantly strengthens the case for a US approval, and soon. So, what happens when the SEC finally says yes? The consensus among analysts is clear. The impact will be explosive. Let's talk money. How much capital are we talking about? The estimates are staggering. Bitwise's CIO, Matt Hugin, stated that an XRP ETF will easily become $1 billion fund in just the first few months. Other forecasts are even more bullish, with some experts predicting total inflows between $5 and $10 billion. Inflows of that magnitude could place the XRP ETF among the most successful ETF launches in history. The demand is already visible. The XRP Army, a globally recognized retail community, is poised to smash by the ETF on day one. Now, for the question everyone wants answered: what does this do to the price? While this is not financial advice, the analyst projections are compelling. With regulatory clarity and the prospect of massive ETF inflows, some consensus price targets for the end of 2025 range from $3.50 to $4.50. More bullish scenarios project a potential surge towards the $10 mark. A move to $3.50 would represent a crucial breakout above a multi-year resistance level, potentially validating a large cup and handle pattern that chart analysts have been watching. However, a word of caution is essential. In crypto, there's a well-known phenomenon: buy the rumor, sell the news. The price often rallies in the weeks leading up to a big event, and then speculators take profits on the announcement day, causing a short-term dip. Long-term investors understand this. The real story is the steady, relentless inflow of capital over the subsequent months and years, which could provide a powerful, sustained tailwind. Now, it's crucial to keep a balanced perspective. While the bullish case is incredibly strong, no outcome is ever guaranteed. So, what are the risks? First, a delay. While deadlines are approaching, US government shutdowns and other procedural hiccups have been known to push dates back. A delay, even a short one, could spook the market and cause a sharp correction. Second, there is regulatory risk, however small it may seem now. A surprise denial, while highly improbable given the precedents, would be catastrophic for the price in the short term. Finally, there's market risk. What if the launch is a dud? The Bitwise Solana ETF, BSOL, set a high bar with its massive first day volume. If the first XRP TFS fail to meet those high expectations, it could be perceived as a failure. It's essential to be prepared for volatility and understand that the market will not move in a straight line. So here we are on the brink of one of the most anticipated events in XRP's history. The battle lines are drawn. 7 financial titans are locked in a war for a multi-billion-dollar prize. We have the veteran Grayscale, the specialist Bitwise, the traditional powerhouse Wisdom Tree, and a host of other giants and innovators. The regulatory gauntlet has been run. The legal clarity is there. The international precedent is set. The final SEC decision is no longer a matter of if, but when and who. The approval of a spot XRP ETF will be more than just the launch of a new product. It will be the final step in the institutionalization of XRP, transforming it into a mainstream component of global finance. It will unlock trillions of dollars in capital and validate the vision the community has held for years. The coming weeks will be historic. The war for the first XRP ETF is reaching its climax, and when the dust settles, the cryptocurrency landscape may be changed forever. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these titans do you think will win the race? And what's your price target for XRP once the ETF is live? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.